Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's well. Welcome to the Dungeon Dive Live. I am Paul, and I'll be your DM for a while, and aka Flint Fireforge. Yeah, back from the Dragonlance days. And so I hope that you are all having a fantastic week. I want to wish all our American viewers, coming up this week is 4th of July, so I want to wish you all a very happy 4th of July. Hope that you're going to be celebrating well. And that's what we're here to do this tonight here. We're here to welcome you in and also celebrate not only our freedoms, but also our hobby, which is Dungeons & Dragons, role-playing games, all the good stuff. And I hope that you've done a lot of gaming this week, because I know I have. And I'm going to share with you tonight. So tonight I'm going to be talking about games I'm playing in, games that I am running, which includes learn to plays, and just share some thoughts and ideas there. And then we'll go from there. So I think we'll go for probably 30 minutes or so, unless you have questions. Now, if you have questions, some Dungeon Master questions, happy to answer those questions for you. Just leave them in the chat. You can put them over there. And if you happen to miss it, you're watching this in the future, go ahead and leave them down in the comments. So let's talk about games I'm playing in. And I did not take any pictures of this. There's two that I did not take pictures of because sometimes when you're playing, you forget, at least I forget to take pictures of what I'm doing. In the learn to plays and the games I'm playing, I try to make sure that I capture pictures, because I think that just communicates a lot to you folks that are watching. And in this case, I have two games. I'll be brief about them. I play in a monthly Pathfinder First Edition game run by some friends of mine who are, they are, I don't want to say, there's nothing typical about them, but I want to say it is a typical group where this is the beer and pretzels group. This is the group that is just a ton of fun to be a part of. The jokes are flying. The game, when everybody's dialed in, man, we're serious about it, but most of the time we are playing off each other. We are having fun with our characters. I play a catfolk rogue who has suffered mightily at the hands of the DM and his powerful dice, because my rogue has taken dexterity damage so much. But thankfully, we now have a shaman healer amongst us. So I'm getting some of that back through restoration and other things. But we're playing against the giants. That's right. We're playing against the giants. And it's a fun game. It's a fun environment to be in. Everybody's just kind of, we've been playing this game now, I want to say close to 2 years, once a month. And it's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to get out and be amongst people. I've done a lot of online gaming. I've played in some online gaming as well as running online games, and I still enjoy in-person games. In-person games to me are the best. To me, that's just and I want to say that that's not to disparage online gaming. I enjoy online gaming, but it's a different dynamic. But there are times when I am online gaming, especially when I'm running games, I'm doing my best to make it feel like we're in person. I'm doing my best to make sure everybody's comfortable. Everybody kind of has, this kind of vibe where everybody's kind of getting along and, they're playing their characters. And so I try my best to recreate that in an online game if I can. So if you're interested at all in online gaming with me, want me to run games for you, things like that, I'll put a link down below in the description for that. So that is the first game. That is the game that I am participating. The second game I am participating in is Shadow Dark. It's a Shadow Dark game run by Tim Shorts, and I'm in that game with Joe the lawyer and Ken and a couple other people who are kind of swapping it out. And my character, which is I'm playing a witch, and that's Eleanor Digby, and she is I describe her as what's her name from no, I can't, I'm going to not do it justice. From the she kind of reminds me of the crazy enemy from the Power Rangers. I can't come on, Paul, think about it. But anyway, if you remember it, you can leave it down below. You know, it's one of the very first villains that the Power Rangers faced. And it's kind of based off her. She's really wild looking. She's not your typical witch, so she's kind of a stands out a little bit. And we're getting into a campaign. We've done a couple of these. We've done a couple of games online already, and Tim has done a great job. Great group to game with. And like I said, my character, my witch, has died several times if it was not for Ken, who had a Rod of Resurrection. And these were really one-shots. It was kind of like a short adventure, parts 1 and 2, and it was really fun. But at the end of the month, there we go, RPG Dad. You get point of inspiration for you, sir. Rita Repulsa. That's kind of what my witch is based on. So if that tells you anything about the kind of character I really want to play in Shadow Dark, that's kind of what I want to do. But thank you, RPG Dad. So yes, so in the Shadow Dark game, we're going to run a campaign end of the month. I'll put links down there. You can follow on mine. Hello, Spellcrafter Gaming. How are you? Welcome in. Thank you all for being here. So we're going to start a campaign at the end of the month. It'll go live here on the channel. So if you're not subscribed to the channel and you would like to be subscribed and you want to be notified when we go live and run the Shadow Dark campaign, it's going to be a lot of fun. And then for that game, Tim has his own lore, has his own setting. He's building in the Comore Forests, and he does a really super job. So I'm looking forward to that. So those are the games that I'm currently playing in. I don't know about you. I'd play every day probably. I'd run every day if I could, right? I don't know about any of you, but it's kind of the way I feel a little bit. At least a little bit. I mean, not like, I wouldn't do 6-hour games. I'm like a 3-hour game guy. Like, I've gotten to the age, listen, if you've been gaming, like I've been gaming for 40 years, the time that you spent as a young person playing, if you played when you were 13, 14, like I did, I'm a red box baby, and we played like 6 hours, like all-nighters in the garage, on the pool table, or in the dining room, snacks everywhere, the whole deal. And I still run games for those guys on Friday nights. The guys that I played with and ran for, I didn't run for them in high school, but they ran for me. And now I run for them on Friday nights. And we're playing Esper Genesis, which is a 5e game, science fiction version of 5e. And that goes real well. If you want to watch any of that, by the way, you can always search my channel. There are links in there for that. There's also links to the Shadow Dark game. But I think, for me, time-wise, 3 hours is a good game for me. I'd like to know, what is your time limit? How long do you like to play or run? I think I'm the same either way. I think I'm the same whether I want to run or I want to. My learn to plays are for sure 3 hours. That's kind of the limit for that for me. But even in playing, I'm finding 3 hours. 3 hours is usually pretty good. 2.5. Okay, I'm down for that. And so my time is getting a little bit shorter, but I think my minimums is 3 hours is probably good for me. So let's talk about some learn to plays. I have been doing some learn to plays at my local game shop. Shout out to Gear Gaming here in the Birmingham area. And for this, I am using, believe it or not, Keep on the Borderlands. And we've not even, when I use this, I have to say this, I use the beginning part. I use Greyhawk. I talk about Greyhawk. I talk about City of Greyhawk. And in this particular case, I did a learn to play. I had 3 people there. And the funny thing is this, I don't know if you go into your local game stores or anything. RPG Dad says, yes, 3 to 4 is the limit. I understand. So in this case, you have people that always come into game stores and say, hey, is anybody playing D&D, right? And, they're not to disparage in any way, but there's a lot of people who want to play, but don't go the next distance. They want, to play, right now. They'll go into the game store, is there anybody playing D&D? Like they want them to be playing right now. Well, you know what? That happens 9 out of 10 times. Somebody will just come in, nothing's going on, and they're running they're wanting to learn how to play, but they don't follow up. They don't, seek it out. But this particular learn to play happened a few weeks ago. I was running a learn to play, and somebody actually walked in and said, "Is anybody running D&D?" And the guy the guy at Gear says, "How much time do you have? Do you have 3 hours?" he said, he says, "What are you doing for the next 3 hours?" He said, "Nothing." Well, he says, "Good, get back there. Go play this. Go play D&D." And he hadn't played since 3.5. So I think those kind of moments are, can be special moments because they come in and something is happening for them. So listen, my encouragement is, if you're not playing, learn to plays at your local game store. Set something up. Give it a shot. I usually run twice a month. One is a learn to play. I'll do one learn to play every month, and then I will run an adventure, which I'll get to here in just a little bit. But in this particular game, I do keep on the Borderlands, and in this particular case, the whole first part. I mean, this took the whole 3 hours. I set up an adventure with them, with these folks, and to demonstrate how bad the big bads were. And I did a video on this recently about this villain is lame, and just talking about how Vecna is not portrayed, I don't think, at least at the beginning, if you're trying to run an adventure, you want your villains to be bad. And so it wasn't set up that way. So for me, I wanted to make sure that the orcs, that why they're going to the Caves of Chaos, were so bad that in my case, I had them moving in. I had the orcs kind of moving in towards the city of Greyhawk, and city Greyhawk is trying to expand. And so they have the keep on the Borderlands where they're trying to expand and so forth. And then I had them come upon a village which they could, see smoke, in the distance, and which was obviously a sign, an omen of bad things to come. And so they found these orcs coming in and trashing this little kind of small little hamlet, this little, like, not even a hamlet, not even that. It's probably maybe 4 or 5 buildings, like a little part where people did not want to live in the city of Greyhawk, so they're living outside of it, and they're living far enough away that the orcs were kind of moving in. And it set that up. As for a learn to play, I really enjoyed setting up the big bad, okay? And say, okay, you guys are about to go into a place where there's orcs, and there's kobolds, and there's ogres, and things like that. And so I tried to set that up because I did 2 things. One is I did the thing where I set up, I wonder if I can show you this. Let me just see here real quick. Something fun I did. There we go. Something fun I did with the village is I kind of made my own little rooftops there. I don't know if this will stay. But so I made my own little rooftops here, as you can see. Well, you sort of see. And then I had where the villages were all kind of all in one place, and they were kind of in the main house. And then you had these orcs that were all kind of attacking the one place. And I just like making, these are nice little rooftops that you can make for your game there to say, hey, and you can set them on fire. I have little fire tokens you can put on there and things like that. And so in doing that, and making it, I mean, that little battle there took quite a bit of time, more so than I thought. We didn't even get to the caves. We didn't even get to the caves, but I liked just setting that up. The setup for that was great, so that maybe they come back and say, hey, could we play that or finish that or do that again? And so for that, I think it's just important to set up the big bad, and the game went great. And the new person that came in, who hadn't played since 3.5, had a great time, and I think it's great. Now, for me, I like to keep my groups small. I don't know about you guys, but I keep my groups to probably 4 to max 5. I don't like very large learn to play groups, only because it gets lost, right? The instruction part of it gets lost. And I'm trying to help everybody kind of know their characters and those type of things. And there's a whole system for that, that I have. The second group that I am running right now, as far as learn to plays goes, I'm trying to do at a Boys and Girls Club. And the Boys and Girls Club, I'll show you my setup there. I set up at the Boys and Girls Club, and they are, I'm running just a simple 1-page, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but I'm running a simple 1-page with them. But this was fantastic. This was a a great game. And you can kind of see how I set up my game there. I have, everybody's got their little separate baggies. They got dice. They have these little tent cards where they write their name, their real name, and their character's name. One on each side, so that when I'm getting to know them, I'm getting to know their real name. And then when I say switch your card over, then they're in character mode, and that kind of helps them. I always think of Sylvester Stallone in the arm wrestling movie where he flips his hat over the top, where he flips his hat around. And I find like when you're switching the card, it's almost like, hey, now I'm jumping into character here. I'm going to become the character, and it just becomes a little way be able to do that. Now these boys here are 12 years old. Okay. These are 12-year-old boys, and they are wild. You know what though? I say that one of them was a little wild, but they're 12. I mean, that's what they're gonna be. And so I'm setting up with them. We do our character creation. One of my new little things I like to do is I like to make, when they're choosing their weapons, especially for young teens, I like to give them something to look at. So I keep a little baggie here. I just made these. I let them choose their weapons, as you can see here. I just put these out, and I've just started doing, that's upside down, Paul. I have them choose their weapons. They have clubs. They have their bows. They have their big crossbows, handheld crossbow, and then you have your large crossbow there. So I get that in focus there. There we go. And then let me see here if I can click something off. I always mean to click this off, and it never works out like that. But let's see here. There we go. A little bit better. So it has all the little things there. So when they're choosing their weapons, a lot of them don't know what a weapon is, right? They don't know what a mace is. Okay. They don't know. Maybe they've never seen that. They don't know what a morning star is. But if they see that weapon, they go, well, that looks pretty cool. I like my character to have that. So I started making these so they can go through it. And I just did armor today. I did some armor. So I'm going to poke that out there and show them that as well, because I think it just helps with the visual. Right? I think it just helps them, and it gives them a little fiddly something to kind of say. And for Learn to Plays, I don't care if they, if they hold on to this or keep it, I can make more copies, but they can keep it in front of them versus looking at, just writing on a paper. They have these visuals, like a little tableau that you would have, like in a board game or something, where you have your weapons, you have your armor, you know what those are, and then you start to get to know the terms, right? Like your dex modifier. Right? Or, something like that. So they know what their armor class is, those type of things. And so in doing that, I'll show you another picture. So they had a deal where they were fighting a troll. So there's my little bridge. There's the characters. We had one magic user, one fighter, two fighters, and two fighters. Maybe we had three fighters. Three fighters and a wizard, probably. Let's just say that. And I said, listen, you guys are, and they were fantastic. But what made this is the epic moment, right? This is the moment where you hope happens in a Learn to Play game, especially with these young men. And it happened to be all guys this time. And so each of them took their turn for the troll. And the troll is saying, look, give me something to come across the bridge. And they're like, nope, we don't really want to do that. And sometimes, it gives them an opportunity, if nothing else, to negotiate, right? I mean, they have the opportunity. They can. And I've had other groups do that, where they will negotiate. And that's also a great skill to learn as a young person, is you're going to negotiate. Everything doesn't have to be a fight. And so everybody takes their turn, and I am ramping it up. I mean, I say, okay, the troll is doing this. The troll achieves a grabs one of the warriors, the warriors, and says he's going to throw you in the river, is what's going to happen. So I'm just letting you know that's what's going to happen if everybody. And so I just kind of ratchet up the stakes here, that everybody's turn matters, because now they know that this warrior is going to be thrown into the river. So I said, okay, let's go. So I'm going around the room. What do you want to do? Well, I'm going to hit it. Okay, good. What are you going to do? I'm going to hit it. All of them hit and did damage, but it wasn't enough. So it came down to this young man, and I wish I had it on video. Came down to this young man, and I said, what do you want to do? You can try to, get out. You can try to get out of the grapple there. You can, do that, break, do a strength check. He said, no, I'm going to hit it. I said, you still have your hand free. I said, you can do that. So he takes his weapon, and sure enough, if he didn't roll a D20, a solid D20, man, and the room erupted as if they had won the Super Bowl. There were high fives. There were, jumping. There was chaos. And I'm just saying that's it right there for me. That's when that happens for them, they see all their effort. And had it gone sideways, had he still got thrown in the river, well, something else would have happened. It wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world. But for this moment to experience that, now another time they may experience it at another moment. They may say, well, he gets thrown in the river. What are you going to do about that? Are you going to leave the bridge and go get your friend out? Or what are you going to do? And that would have resulted in a whole nother, chain of events that would have happened. But this is another one too. This is another moment. And I did get this as a photo here. So they're getting ready. They're doing an adventure. I'll tell you about in a second. But they're doing where they have to get these sheep back from these goblins that are around the trees. I said, guys, what are you going to do? I said, they're in the forest. They have a little fire going. You can see them sharpening their blades. They're about to slaughter these sheep and eat them. And they're trying to get the sheep back for this young lady who's hired them, basically, and says, hey, can you get my sheep back for me? They said, sure, we'll do that. I said, okay. So once again, ramping it up, right? Ratcheting up the tension. And now we got people shooting from trees. We have doing all this. I said, you're gonna need a plan, guys. They said, okay, let's have a plan. So when I said, let's have a plan, here's what they did. That's them. They said, let's huddle up. That's what they did. They said, let's huddle up. Is that not fantastic? Is that not fantastic? They said, let's huddle up. And they huddled up, and they are making plans. Once again, solid gold as far as I'm concerned, as far as a role-playing experience from my end of the table, and them saying we're going to plan, we're getting together, working together. I mean, what if you saw adults do that? Would that not be funny? All right, you guys are going to need a plan. And somebody at the table said, well, let's huddle up. let's huddle up. And all the adults get it from the table. They go off to the side. All right, let's talk about this. How do you want to do this? And they came up with a plan to rescue the sheep, and they wound up rescuing the sheep. So what else can you ask for? It was, once again, it's just a great, I call these great moments in gaming, because the 20 is a great thing. Them doing something unexpected, like getting up from the table and saying, hey, we're going to go get a plan together. I think that's just fantastic. The adventure, I will share with you. The adventure that I am using for this is one-page adventures from Eventyr Games. And these one-page adventures are really, really nice. This is not a review, and I'm not going to do a whole review on this, but if you are interested in checking them out, I'll drop a link here in the chat. And the one-page dungeons are very nice. I mean, it's very concise, and it is. Let's see. There we go. It's very concise. I have to, and I won't do a full review on it. There's some things in it that I'm going, well, there's 1, 2, 3 this, and there's 1, 2, how do those match up? So, but shout out to Eventyr Games for great one-page dungeons. I think one page is kind of the exact thing that I want to do at a Learn to Play. Because if I do keep on the Borderlands, which is great, that's not the adventure, right? They don't ever get to, if I do it as a Learn to Play, they don't ever get to the Caves of Chaos. Usually they're going to do something. I could put them right there at the cave and say, okay, you're there. And maybe I need to do that, to actually get them into the adventure. But even then they're only going to cover one cave, but we'll see. I'll figure it out, right? I'll figure it out. And so yeah, so I think that for the Eventyr Games, I want to say, I think they have some really good one-page dungeons, and I encourage you to check them out. There will be links if you're watching this later. There will be link. All the links will be down in the doobly-doo down there in the description. Okay. The second game that I am running Saltmarsh, Ghosts of Saltmarsh. And, for me, I don't know about you. You tell me, do you find it difficult to find a group with synergy? Those are the groups you love, right? You love the group that kind of gets together. Maybe they're friends already. They're already kind of in sync, kind of like my Friday night group. But I find it even to be more rare if you're just doing because I'm committed to playing Saltmarsh. I'm committed because, I say, look, it's an open table. That means whenever you come into the game, that's where we're at in the adventure. So if we've done chapters 1, 2, and 3, okay, then maybe next month or whenever you come in, you're in chapter 3. And I fit them in, kind of like I did this past week. I had some folks come in, and I had them already captured, and I got them about as quick into the game as I could. I got them as quickly into the game as I could. I had them captured and by the way, if you don't want to know anything about Saltmarsh, turn away, close your ears. Okay, don't listen, don't look. And I will try to be as spoiler free as possible. But there are smugglers, and so I had them captured by the smugglers. And so the group that was coming in found the group that was there, and that's how they met up. So they had this huge deal. Let me just kind of show you a little bit about what it looked like. So there they are down in the underneath the house and they're down there. They're trying to find these smugglers who are smuggling. They're doing their smuggling thing. And I wish I could have had a pointer here or something, but I don't. But as you can see here on the left, they are coming in. They just had this encounter, and this one of the players, he did a really good job. I call him door breaker. I'm going to start calling him Cougar door breaker, because he doesn't open doors. He just walks through doors, and the doors obey him. He has done a bunch of strength checks and has walked right through doors. So I find that to be hilarious. So in this case, on the left, they have just dealt with some individuals, some of the smugglers, and then they're having this big battle over here. Let me bring that up. And there they are fighting some smugglers there. And then they're going to have a little bit more. They're going to have, let's see. Nope, don't want that. I want that. Nope, let's go back to this. Let's see here. Which one do I want to go to? That's the one I want. So yeah, so they've just gotten done with those folks there, and they're going into another section where there is an epic battle there. It is really, you got people hiding behind boxes. They're going in. There are one of the archers, well, he wasn't an archer, but the character using the bow, several 20s, shooting people through the neck and through the eyes. It is quite the deal there. So these, and back to what I was saying about synergy, when you get a group together that's just not learn to play, but they sign up for games, and I run them. People pay for these games. They sign up, and they, for me, it's like $25 for a session. I try to keep it as super inexpensive because it's important, I think, to keep it fair, what you would pay to do something else. I know there are others maybe who want to value their games much higher. I don't begrudge them that if that's what they feel their game is worth. But I like to make my games to where there's consistency, where if nothing else, the baseline is people are paying once a month for consistency. The DM's going to show up. The DM's not going to cancel unless there's an emergency. And also keeping an open table where people who want to play are playing. So for me, that works for me because I want to run. It's frustrating. You tell me, Dungeon Masters that are watching. Frustrating for you if you can't run this game that you've been wanting to run forever. And I just said, this is my best way to do this. It's just going to be open game. You're coming into wherever it's happening, and people can come in and out as they choose. And I have ways of bringing them in and bringing them out. So, and which is super helpful. Hey, it's the K5K here. Welcome in, Mr. K5K. Good to see you. It says, ran original Secrets of Saltmarsh a while back. Could not get the PCs to go out in a rowboat for all the money in a dragon's hoard. They did not want a watery grave. Brave heroes without swimming. Well, understood. But my guys are going to have to. I mean, they're going to get hired. They're going to go out to the boat because that's the only way they're going to get paid. I think it's like 200 gold pieces because the way I have them interacting with the city and the mayor and all the people, I think they're going to do it. And if they don't, that's fine. They have a day. Right now, I think they have a day until the ship comes in, and then they're going to have to figure out how to signal it. They're going to have to get out there. They're going to have to decide what they're going to do on the boat. What are their goals? Are they there to, they got to figure it out. But I'm excited to see what they will do. Because it may not go. Look, I didn't expect them to kill all the smugglers. Maybe I did. I don't know. Maybe I did expect that. But they are, that's the great thing for me. I don't know what they're going to do. They have all the freedom in the world. If they choose not to go boat, I will have to, because if you've read it, K5K, you know where it's supposed to go. I do too. So in that, I'm just going to have to run with it and figure out how to bring up, the other things as they go. And if all they want to do is run around the city, which I think is good. I gave them 2 days, so they're going to get a free day to kind of roam around the city, which, a little bit of a sandboxy type thing. They can go around, do something if they want to do a little adventure, or they can let the day go by and, just show up for the boat. But they'll give them some time in the city of Saltmarsh, which I think is a great little sandboxy place. I got some videos coming up, by the way, on sandboxes. And I think Saltmarsh is one of those places that is just a great little place. And I have, by the way, if you don't, I don't have any thing there, but if you don't have, keep your stuff in a binder. Got to keep your stuff in a binder. And I have in here all the stuff that I need, like, NPCs' names, all the things you're going to need. And I am actually expanding it out a little bit. I'm putting all the details for Saltmarsh, so that if they decide to go through town, I have some of that ready. And I'm even working on some other things, so we'll go from there. I was surprised by the reaction. I had to improvise a fail-forward situation. They did not get their reward. You know what I find, and this is interesting too, K5K, is that my group did not go, like, how they go and empty the whole place? They didn't go upstairs. And they may do it. They may do it in the next adventure, because they may say, well, we'll go upstairs. And I'll be honest with you, the Ned character in there, not a fan. I think he is in the story, he's supposed to be a red herring and all these things. I just don't like him. I don't like him as a character, and I don't know if I want to play him as a character. So I don't think I'm going to put him in as an NPC and do anything with him. I think it's just going to be, we're gonna explore that in another way. I think I have another way for them to figure the party to figure some things out about the council and all that's going on there. And so this game is going very, very well. And by the way, I mentioned the Saltmarsh. I'll show what I'm using. You saw it. Well, there's my screen. I'm using this, and this is the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh. There's a whole package of these, and I got to tell you, it is a time saver. I have the book with me when I do it, but this particular deal right here condenses everything down into 2 or 3 lines. And puts all your NPCs, all your monsters, creatures, whatever it is. And so I'm going to put a link down below for that. If you guys are interested in that, I'll put that down below. If you're interested, I'll drop a link if you're interested. But like I said, I'm going to put it in there. And by the way, I think I said one page dungeons is not Eventyr Games. This is Eventyr Games. One page dungeons is I think just the gentleman who I had up there. Let me see if I can bring that back real quick because I feel bad. By Tyler Monahan. So if you want to search RPG and just look for Tyler, Drive Through RPG is Tyler Monahan. So my apologies to you, sir. I did not mean to confuse these, but I am a confused person. So what can I tell you? This, though, Sinister's Secret of Saltmarsh, each chapter, and I've downloaded all of them, and I keep them in my binder, and that way I keep all my stuff handy dandy, and you can get this there. I will put this here, and they have, like I said, they condense everything. They make it super easy. The maps, super easy to follow, and it's always nice to have another map just ready, and I think they've done a fine job. So there is that. Also, Ned, K5K, Ned is a bit meh. I agree. I don't like playing him as the buffoon, as he's trying to like mess things up. I don't know. It's a bit, I don't know how I want to say it, like Jar Jar Binkish. If that's like just this goof, like he's like pretending to fall, he's trying to get, it's fine. If somebody likes to play it that way, that's fine. It's just not I don't like to play him that way. I'd rather, I don't know, wish there was something else. But anywho, onward. This, like I said, great stuff for Saltmarsh. And I think that is everything I have. I think that is all. That is what I have been running. I've been playing in. That's what I'm running. And then upcoming, I got some videos coming up on sandboxes. I have some coming up on world building. I have other things coming up. If you are interested, by the way, and this is new, maybe some of you got to see it, some of you didn't, but now I have this little zine that I'm putting out once a month called Crit Happens. And it has a combination of things. It has, some tables in there. It's got 15 ways to foreshadow a dragon. It's got some different tables, got some different ideas. It's meant to be, I'll tell you what I'm shooting for, and only because when I put little things like this, because of the sense of humor, like this is about proactive, these little cartoons I'm putting in here, which I'm going to do something on these, by the way, artwork on Canva. Some really good stuff in there. I'm going to show you how I use it in some of my games. But this is a fun little zine, something to keep at your table. I'm always interested in what you have to say about it. Like, what would you want in a zine? Something this small, something you would print off maybe. It's PDF size. But you're always say, hey, what do I need at my table? That, like, if I had this at my table, like, I would use something like something simple. I also try to put little worksheets in here. Like, I talk about what is epic gaming. So I have a little article in there where I put a little worksheet where you can work it out for yourself. So I'm going to put some things in there that you can use right at your table, that if that's what you want to use, you can make copies of it, right? Make as many copies as you want, that type of thing. But I try to keep articles. I try to put little fun things in there. But like I said, about the fun things with the artwork, I got distracted there. Squirrel! With the artwork, I don't know. I want to use humor in these things. I kind of want it to be, I don't know, like the Cracked magazine. Like, I want it to be a combination of Dungeon and Cracked magazine somehow. I'm trying to mash these things up, if you've ever seen Cracked magazine or Mad magazine, to where there's fun in it, but there's also useful things in it, things that'll just make you smile, that kind of stuff. So anyway, if you are interested in this, it is over. I don't have it on drive-through. I do have it over on my own little kind of place. So if you're interested in that, it's pay what you want. I don't think I'll ever charge an amount. I don't want to have a Patreon. I don't want to do all that stuff. I want to just say, look, here's my stuff. Let's do this. And if you haven't bought it yet, if you have got it, obviously would love your feedback. And K5K says, I got my copy of issue number 1. It's a nice read. Some thought-provoking ideas. More inspirational DM ideas would be good. 12 ways to skin an owlbear. Gotcha. Okay, I'm going to write that down. Maybe yeah, something like how to use creatures for various things. And I am working on that as well. So thank you for that, K5K. I appreciate the feedback. Appreciate the fine words you have said about it. Issue number 2 will be out this month, and I may do something piratey. It is summer. I am playing in Saltmarsh, so there's smugglers. So there may be some of that in there, as well as some articles and things like that that hopefully will be helpful. But that is it, guys. I think that's it. I think I've gone long enough. I've tried to keep it to 30 minutes, but you guys had some great comments and things. So thank you guys so much for being here, being a part. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and click the subscribe button. You'll know when I go live. Hit the bell notification, all those kind of things. Of course, you're welcome to share the video, all that stuff. And of course, I appreciate your time being here. And for those that are celebrating the 4th of July this week here in the America, happy 4th of July to you. And once again, it's a week of independence for America, but I think it's also a week of independence for the hobby, for role-playing games. Go play your game, right? Don't listen to all these videos. Don't even listen to my videos. You play your table. You do how you want to do. If you can, grab a few things here and there and just play your table the way you want to play your table. There's a lot of experts out there. Listen, you're the expert at your table. Run it how you want to run it. So celebrate your freedom as a dungeon master, as a game master, and how you run your game. And say, this is my game. I can run it however I want. Woo! Right? So anyway, that is my encouragement to you. Go out and enjoy the week, enjoy some gaming, and thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.